Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I welcome you all to the 9th lecture of our course Electronic Commerce. In the previous lecture, we discussed the online consumer behavior and different decision-making processes. Today, we are going to take the discussion a little bit further and discuss some concepts related to digital or online marketing. Before getting into that, let's differentiate a few things and let's get an overview of the total online users of internet that we have. Shoppers, browsers and buyers. What is the difference between them? Let's find out. Online buyers basically, they constitute 73% of the total internet users that we have. Now these figures are a few years older, but the current digit would be more or less the same. So online buyers constitute 73% of total internet users. Now who are online buyers? That is the question. Now online buyers are those people who actually conduct an online purchase, right, which is purely online. If they saw the product on the internet, they researched it and they ultimately bought it on the internet as well. So these type of people would be known as online buyers, and they constitute 73% of the total online users, right? Then the other category, we can call them shoppers. These are the people who constitute 16% of total online user base that we have, and these are those type of people who actually conduct research, gather all the information about a certain product online, but ultimately they do purchase that product offline. Now this is something we often do. Whenever we want to buy a product, we do a lot of research about it on the internet, right? So these type of people, they constitute 16% of the total users, right? They do not purchase online, but what they do is that they shop for it online. They gather information, they do all kinds of research, price research, they compare their products, they try to read comments of previous users, and on the basis of that information research, they actually make a decision to buy or not buy a certain product. But when they do decide to buy a product, they buy that product offline, right? Now of all the offline sales or the traditional sales that happen, 1/3 of these sales constitute of such shopping behavior, right, where a person has actually researched the product online and then ultimately buy that product offline. And 11% of that total population is a population who do not shop or buy online, right? They do not they conduct any research online, and they ultimately do not buy the product online. So they are totally operating offline. They are totally operating in the traditional way of business. Now from these figures, especially from the second one, where people do some research on the internet and then ultimately buy the product offline, what it tells us? It tells us that e-commerce, electronic commerce, it influences the traditional business as well, right? It has an influence, a positive influence in traditional commerce as well, because in this case people have used electronic arena to gather all the information, to do some research, and ultimately they have bought the product offline. And the same goes the other way, vice versa. Traditional commerce, it also has an impact over electronic commerce, right? How both of them have an impact over each other. First, one example we have just discussed, that a person before shopping a product offline conducts all sorts of research in the online arena, right? On the other hand, if we talk about promotion now, different brands, they do promote their products both in online and offline arena. So a promotion that you may have come across through traditional media, it may convince you, and ultimately you may buy that product on online media, right, through electronic commerce. So this is how both of them actually influence each other. We are going to discuss it further in the next few slides. This tells us that electronic commerce and traditional commerce, they are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they work together in a synergy, right? They work together in a harmony, and they somehow amplify the effect of each other. So electronic commerce and traditional commerce, they are not mutually exclusive. It doesn't mean that if e-commerce is there, so traditional commerce will not be there. They both work in harmony, and they actually complement each other. Because commerce is commerce, whether it is electronic or traditional commerce, the basic concepts are actually the same, right? Traditional commerce and the traditional promotion, they are still very powerful, and they do account to a major chunk of budget in the business world, right? Yes, things are moving towards electronic commerce and electronic marketing, but obviously the traditional commerce, it is how it actually started. It is the root of all business, so it is still a lot more stronger. And as we have discussed, that electronic commerce does not mean that traditional commerce would somehow be eradicated from the map, right? So they both work together, and they work together in harmony. But ultimately, till now, the picture that we see, traditional commerce and traditional promotion, these are still very powerful than electronic commerce, and they do acquire a major chunk in the budget of businesses, right? Now the question arises that why more people does not shop online, right? Why more people do not shop online? Yes, a very large proportion of people is shopping online, but still the majority of people, they are not shopping online, even if they have access to all the infrastructure and all the internet facilities that are required. There are three things which somehow give us the answer that why more people are not shopping online. The first thing is trust. Now, trust is a very important factor. Trust, whenever we are trying to purchase, whenever we are making a purchase, trust is very important. If trust is not there, if there is a trust deficit, then things won't work out as we desire, right? So speaking of the online businesses, there is a trust deficit between people, because you are only satisfied when you actually see a certain product. You also in some cases get a trial of that product. You can see it, you can test it. Now these types of facilities are not available online, so you have to trust on the word of the seller. So it becomes difficult at times, especially whenever we are spending larger amounts of money. So trusting the quality of the product, trusting the authenticity of the product, it sometimes becomes difficult. Another thing is utility. Utility is very important, and that is why we often shop. We need a certain utility from the product. We also want certain utility in the process of purchasing that product. So in online cases, the utility might be a little reduced sometimes, especially in case of the buying processes, right? In the case of buying processes, the utility might be decreased a little. How it might be decreased? For example, if you are shopping online, if you are shopping traditionally, you might be able to return a certain product. You might be able to exchange it. The delivery problems, the delivery of that product to you may not be such complicated. But in case of online, we do have a problem. Even the whole process is a little complicated, because a product may be very far from you and it will take some time to reach to you. Then if there is a certain problem and you want to return that product, so it would be a whole bigger procedure, and somehow it actually reduces the utility, right? Consumers, they would want good deals, good bargains, they want convenience. So in electronic transactions, this may somehow become a little difficult, right? Then there is another thing, opportunism. Opportunistic behavior is sometimes showed by the seller, right? Opportunism occurs whenever there is an asymmetry of information, right? When one party, in this case the seller, knows more about the product than the buyer. Another question may come to the mind that previously we have discussed that asymmetry is comparatively reduced when we are talking about online businesses. But in this case we are talking specifically about a certain transaction. Now if we speak overall, yes, there is comparatively less asymmetry in the market, because you can get price information, you can get quality information, you can compare products, right? But in a specific situation where one seller is trying to sell a product to a potential consumer customer, in that case the seller would definitely know more about the product. Maybe that product is somehow faulty, maybe that product is not up to the expectations which have been created, but in this case the seller has more information, the seller has better information, and in due to this the seller may somehow exploit this lack of information with the purchaser, and may somehow maybe get more money from him, or maybe give him lesser quality for a certain amount of money. So this is opportunism, and these are the three factors why people do not shop online to a much extent. Now let's come towards digital marketing and advertising. Now we all know what advertising is and what marketing is, what are the purposes, what are the reasons behind all these. Now digital and traditional marketing or advertising, they have similarities and they have dissimilarities as well. The similarity is a very major one, the similarity of purpose. The purpose of both digital marketing or advertising and traditional marketing or advertising, they are the same, right? Both in case of marketing, both of them are actually aimed towards keeping a profitable relationship with the customer, satisfying their needs, and in return getting value from them. Digital, traditional marketing, both actually does the same job. In case of advertising, they are actually paid form of communication, non-personal form of communication, and they may have different purposes. Maybe they are trying to give some information or persuade a customer, or maybe remind them of something, right? So purpose of in both cases is the same. Now digital marketing can be different from traditional marketing in four ways, right? The first one is personalized. Personalized means that we can tailor our messages, whatever that message is, however we want to target our potential buyer. That message can be personalized, right, according to the customer. It doesn't mean that there is one general message and it has been disseminated or broadcasted to a whole large audience. No, digital marketing give us the edge that we can personalize our message, we can tailor our message according to each and every individual customer. Digital marketing, the second point of difference is that it is participatory, right? In this case, both the parties can participate, the sender and the receiver. We see that there are different ads and different promotional campaigns on social media or other digital devices, in which both seller and buyer can actually participate, in contrast to the traditional marketing where participation from the receiver was very, very rare, right? Digital marketing, another difference is that it can also happen peer to peer, right? We can also call it word of mouth, or maybe we have seen when things somehow get viral on social media. In that cases, potential customers actually they start to share information with each other, even without any effort of the seller or the company itself. Then digital marketing is communal. It can be specific to different communities. some communities are more relevant to a certain product. So this is a differentiation that we can make in digital marketing, which we cannot make in traditional marketing, because traditional marketing usually it is mass marketing. It is not dynamic, it is static, and it is rarely personalized or participatory or communal, right? So these are the differences between them. Then now digital marketing has also evolved through time. It started with the traditional online marketing. Traditional online marketing has different tools like ads, right? That it is the one of the very basic tool of marketing promotion, and it has somehow traveled. It has evolved to mobile and social media marketing. Nowadays we are too much involved in social media and mobile marketing. We see it around us every day. So it has also been a journey. It started with traditional tools like advertisement, etc., and then it evolved with time, social media marketing, which we will discuss later on in great detail. 5 key elements are identified to be successful as a digital marketer or advertiser, right? 5 key elements need to be there. In an ideal situation, these 5 key elements need to be there in order to perform well. The first thing is website. Online presence is the first point, and it is very important that before going anything else, before going further, before doing anything else, before going towards the traditional online marketing or social media, the first thing that you need to do is to create an online presence, right? That is very important. It may be a website, it may be an application, it may be a social media platform, or it can be anything. The next thing is traditional online marketing. There are certain tools, traditional online marketing tools that we need to use. The first one and the most basic one we have is advertising, right? There are many advertising tools, different type of tools, which we are going to be discussing in the coming lectures. Social media marketing. Nowadays there is a lot of marketing research. We have all kinds of promotion going on. All these things are going on social media, and so existence on social media, marketing on social media is also very important. What this is, we will be discussing it in our coming lectures. Mobile marketing, using of mobile devices for marketing purposes, maybe through SMS, or maybe social media is also accessed a lot through mobile marketing. In fact, mobile marketing is one of the major touch point of e-commerce. So mobile also is an important element. And the last one is offline marketing. Offline marketing needs to be there as well, maybe through televisions or newspapers or magazines or anything like that. So these are the 5 key elements which in ideal case should be there to be successful. Now in our coming lectures we would be discussing each and every one of them: website, traditional online marketing, social media marketing, mobile marketing, and offline marketing in detail, right? Then we will exactly know what these things actually mean and how they would work. That was it for today. I hope to have a good question answer session. Quote of the day is in front of you. Read it, understand it, and implement it in your life. Have a good day. Allah Hafiz.